My name is Andy Hoffman. I'm from the University of Michigan. I'm joined on the stage by Sarah Yo from the University of Utah, Bill Hoffman from Rutgers University, Catherine Lyon-Daniel from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, a noted authority we've learned in the last session, and Carol Bird Bredbener from Rutgers University. And in this second panel, we want to take the learnings from the last panel and try and dive down deeper into a particular category of science communication issues, and those are really particularly around the issue of public controversy. And a lot of the examples from the last session touched on public controversies, but we want to try and focus on that more specifically. To try and understand what we're talking about, we can turn to a National Academy's report on communicating science effectively, and they identify public controversies that stem from the fact that the science itself is often inconclusive, and we've heard that before, that, hey, the science thought this, thought that, where do we stand? And then also there's some form of a disconnect between what the science shows in either long-held common sense perceptions or deeply held moral, ethical, and social values. And so examples might include climate change or GMOs in food, nanotech, genetic testing, HPV vaccinations, or vaccines and autism, certainly all topics that fall into the area of public controversy. To communicate science effectively under these conditions, it's important to understand how and why science becomes part of a public controversy and the forces that affect how people encounter, interpret, and use scientific information in these circumstances. Now, while there's a variety of roots and historical causes for public controversy, this report found that there were three common features that we might focus on. One, they have a conflict over the beliefs, values, and interests of individuals and organizations, rather than simply a need for scientific knowledge, and these become central to the debate. Certainly climate change falls into that category as people start to feel, for example, it challenges their conceptions of God. You've now entered into some very difficult territory. Number two, the public perceives uncertainty either in the science or its implications, or as a result of communicators making different and sometimes contradictory statements in the public sphere. Sometimes we may feed a public controversy or even create one. Or number three, the voices of organized interests and influential individuals are amplified in public discourse, making it difficult for the state of the scientific evidence to become clearly known. So with that as a jumping off point, we're going to hear from each of our three speakers. They've been each given 10 minutes. And then we'll have a conversation on the stage, and then we'll open it up to questions from the audience. And I'll introduce each of the speakers before they begin. So I'm going to start with Sarah Yo, who will lead us off. Sarah is an assistant professor of communications at the University of Utah. She studies science and risk communication, public opinion of STEM issues, and information seeking and processing. Recently, she has focused on how people interact and encounter science on social media. Sarah.